In today's video, not only do I build a raid farm, but I build a raid farm that's capable of producing iron because I stuck an iron farm on top of it. I also show you that I can fly villagers through the air without them dying, and me and Pinape discover a very strange Bedrock Edition bug because it's Bedrock Edition. What else were you expecting? So hello humans, I'm the Alien Doctor, but you can call me Alien, and welcome back to another episode of PinaCraft Season 4. In the previous episode, I constructed this absolutely amazing storage system. And whilst I have not even finished putting in the different items yet, I certainly have made more progress, as you can see. But as you should have heard in the intro, that is not what we're going to be focusing on today. Instead, I need to make a raid farm. Now, the main reason I want to make a raid farm is because I'm spending so many diamonds on buying totems of undying. As you can see by the side of the screen, I have 94 deaths, which is just not ideal at all. And I would very much like to not get to 100. So having my own source of totems is going to be a huge help for that. Now, luckily for me, I planned ahead and have already claimed this pillager outpost, which is very convenient. And as you can see, it's not too far from the Guardian farm, Ink farm, and Mob farm, which are all over there as part of my industrial district. Don't go away, I'm trying to record a clip for a video. Oh, geez, now I've got bad omen. No, shoo, I didn't want this. Now, first things first, before we build any sort of raid farm, we of course need a raid farm design. Now, conveniently, I've actually designed a raid farm before. So almost exactly a year ago, I actually built this raid farm on PinaCraft Season 3. Now, this is completely my own design, and conveniently, when I designed this, I actually had the intention of eventually turning it into an iron raid farm. I just didn't want to build an iron raid farm on Season 3 because I didn't really need it. But I do on Season 4, so that's why we're building it on Season 4. Now, to make this thing an iron raid farm, I believe all we need to do is add some more villagers and some more beds and workstations, and then we should get iron golems spawning, which is pretty good. So, my plan is to essentially go ahead and just increase this leaf platform and then fill it with loads of villagers. What could go wrong? And with a couple of minor modifications, this raid farm has been turned into a fully functional iron raid farm. So as you can see up here at the top, we've added in a little place for all the villagers, and we have 20 villagers, 20 beds, and 20 workstations, meaning we can get 2 iron golems spawning at once in this farm. You can see there's one there, and then in a second another one should hopefully spawn. There we go, just over there, look. So yeah, I mean, it's a 2 iron golem iron farm, which is pretty standard for most iron farms. Then for the kill chamber, we just have a very long drop chamber until we get onto some magma blocks. Now, you may have noticed this redstone here. This is actually because when an iron golem kills a mob, it actually drops XP. And of course, that means we're going to get an XP buildup, which is something we do not want. So this little redstone circuit over here basically pours lava onto the magma to burn all of the XP, because otherwise we'd get loads of XP that would accumulate lag over time. So we just have a simple etho hopper clock here, and right now it's off, but the plan is to just fill it to the max so it's on the longest timing, and then every time this piston moves, this observer detects it, and it fires this little timer thing, which basically, long story short, will just dispense and then remove the lava, which will of course get rid of all of the XP, which is very nice. And then all the items are just being picked up under here with a hopper minecart, going into this auto dropper, while they'll then go into some sort of storage system. Down at the bottom, nothing has actually changed. We just essentially have 2 trapdoor trident killers, 1 for each spawn spot. We'll have to double check how many spawn spots there are for our specific outpost, but for this one there was 2. And yeah, nothing's really changed here. And now it's resource gathering time. So firstly, I grabbed my shears and got a whole load of leaves because iron golems and raids cannot spawn on leaves. So this was a very helpful resource to have for this farm. I also bought a whole load of stone from Goldie's shop and turned it into stone bricks, because that was the material I decided to use for this farm. I also gathered a couple of other smaller materials that I need, such as glass and some minor redstone materials as well. Well, in these very shulker boxes, I should have all the materials that I need to construct a raid farm. So I've got AlienBot online. It's time to begin the time-lapse, I guess. Okay, I know this isn't a time-lapse quite yet because it just occurred to me that I'm getting a bit ahead of myself because we still need to raid this thing and then block off all the spawn points and stuff. So let me put down all this and then I'm going to run over here because it's time for some choppy. Yes, many chopping. Hello there, Mr. Zombie. You are not who I'm here to chop, but I will chop you anyway. And Skeleton. Hello there, Mr. Skeleton. Aha, now you, Mr. Pillager, are here to be chopped. And you. Goodbye. And I do not need your crossbow. Pew, pew. Oh, wait, that's just embarrassing. Hang on. There we go. I got this, guys. Here. Oh, I did not think about the bad omen. This is an issue. We will solve that later. And in the chest, there's absolutely nothing useful, so I'll just take the chest and, well, probably burn all those items. Incredibly useless chest. Bye. Don't want the inventory getting clogged up. Jeez. However, I have just noticed that over here there are some conveniently placed cows, and I have some buckets in my utility box, so we're just going to go ahead and milk these cows, and then drink the cow's milk to get rid of that bad omen. How convenient. Yes. It's almost like I planned it, but I didn't, but it looks like I planned it. Yes. Ah, there's more. Oh dear, there is more. There's definitely more. Oh, gee, I just got rid of all these items. I don't want more. Go away. Shoo. Quick, alien bot, stand guard. Okay, alien. You know, alien bot did not sound super sure about that. But anyway, so I've loaded into a creative copy because it's time to find the spawn spots for this place. So the way that you do that is by getting a whole load of glass panes and basically filling this top section with, well, glass panes. And after we've placed in all of these glass panes, a pillager will try and spawn, and we'll basically be able to work out where the spawn spot is because mobs in Bedrock Edition spawn on the northwest corner of each block. So, like, let's say if they spawned here, I have no idea where northwest is. Let's just say it's in this direction. We'd then know that the spawn spot is on this block. And thanks to Foxy No Tail's Chunk Borders pack, we can see here that this outpost actually crosses 2 chunks. So even though the only thing crossing the next chunk is this banner, it still technically counts as being in this chunk, which means we're actually going to have 2 spawn spots, which in theory would help increase the efficiency of the farm because we'd be getting bad omen more often. So essentially what we need to do is just extend out the platform a little bit so we can work out exactly where this spawn spot is going to be. Okay, so now that I've got this glass thing in, essentially, all we should need to do is fly up a little bit, and we should get one of the captains spawning. Or it doesn't even have to be a captain, just one of the pillagers in general. And this is where Foxy No Tail's pack once again comes in handy, because I can actually double check whether I'm too high or too low for pillagers spawning. So at that height, I'm actually too high because the outpost is out of the spawn sphere. So we're going to go ahead and move down the stand a little bit, and we should be able to see now that we are inside it. So if I go and stand up there, then pillagers should be able to spawn in the outpost. Well, I was the big silly and forgot to turn on mob spawning at first, but now that mob spawning is on, we can see here that we have found the 2 spawn spots that we need. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove all of the excess glass panes because we no longer need them. And now that we've done that, we can go ahead and kill the pillagers. Goodbye. And we're just going to go ahead and mark this area of 4 so we know exactly where they spawned in case we break the glass or something by accident. Now, this is another time where Foxy No Tail's markers pack comes in handy because we're then going to switch to the compass, which I accidentally went on by. There we go. And we can see that this direction is north and this direction is west, meaning the mobs actually spawned on this block and specifically the northwest of that block, which is how they ended up in the center. So our specific spawn spot is actually right here. Now, to test this, we can go ahead and place a piece of glass above that spawn spot where the pillagers will spawn. If they spawn on this block, the glass will actually push them off and make them fall down here. So there we go. We can see lots and lots of pillagers spawning, and they're all falling off that block and, you know, down into the hole where they're then despawning because it's out of the spawn spheres. And now that we've figured out our spawn spots, I'm going to go ahead and write down the actual coordinates. We'll just use the convenient copy coordinates tool that got recently added. And then we should be able to start building this thing in survival on the actual PinaCraft server. Let's do this. Whoa, 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 whoa. Why is there a massive hole here? What, alien bot? What happened? Oh, jeez.
Well, there may have been a slight incident involving a creeper.
A slight incident? Clearly. There's a huge hole in my outpost. Oh, jeez. Well, at least tell me that you got the original blocks. This angle really isn't working. Hang on a minute.
Yeah, actually, luckily I did. They're right here. Hang on a second. And, there you go, alien.
Oh, jeez. Well, at least you didn't let any more pillagers spawn. Thanks for that, I guess. Anyway, it's time-lapse time. I've baited the audience for long enough by making them think we're going to have a time-lapse. It's time for real now for the actual time-lapse to happen. Well, now that we've completed that time-lapse, we're at the point where we need to go ahead and add in, well, the villagers. Now, the villager section of this farm is actually incredibly simple. First of all, we've got to build up a bit, which is kind of hard in the water. And we simply just need to build up 4 blocks and then make a little temporary platform on this Y level, because this will be where we're building our beds, or where we're placing our beds. And then we're just going to go ahead and place in a ton of beds. We're actually placing in 20 beds in total. Okay, there we go. That looks about right. So we have 20 beds all in here. And then I can't remember exactly how this lines up properly, but we're then going to build a platform out of leaves. And this is where all of our villages are going to be. So let me just go ahead and double check I'm doing this right. So, of course, we are going to eventually add a roof, but this is the box where all of the villagers are going to go, and then we're going to put in their workstations here, which I'll do after we've actually added in the villagers. Now, I've not added a roof because, well, we got to get the villagers in there somehow, and as you can see, the villagers are only over there, so it's not actually quite far. And I have a bit of an idea of how to get these villagers over here. Now, if you cast your minds back to PinaCraft Season 3 at around this time of year when I tried to build a raid farm, I did this exact same method, and it did not go well. I can't see the bit that we need to land on. Uh-oh. No, we've overshot. We've overshot. Oh, dear, we've lost the villager. No, 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 no. So we're as close as possible. I landed on the boat. How did I do that? So this time, let's try and, well, do it better. So stage 1, trap villager in boat. Stage B, or 2, build a very large scaffolding tower. Stage 3, or C, depending on what type of person you are. Transport village. Oh dear, no, don't do that. That is not part of the plan. Anyway, as I was saying, stage 3, transport villager to top of very large tower. Stage C squared, or 3.5. Accidentally forget to press the record button and do all the exciting bit whilst not recording. Oh dear. Well, I did the exciting bit. I flew from that scaffolding tower all the way to here with the villager on the lead, and somehow the lead broke off and he facepalmed into the side of this mountain and somehow survived, which is pretty impressive. And it would have been a lot more impressive if I actually caught it on camera, but don't worry, I'll do it again because we need 2 villagers. Okay, well, the next step is probably going to be to try and get the villager to down there in the water. Now, it looks like you don't take full damage in boats on Bedrock anymore, so I'm hoping that's the same for mobs, but we'll find out in a second, I guess. Please don't kill the villager. Okay, good. That is really good. So in theory, that means we don't even need to worry about like doing this over water because the villagers should just survive no matter what. So with that in mind, I might as well just build another tower here. Because the main reason I was doing it over water is so if the villager fell off, they'd land in the water and not die of full damage. But by the looks of things, they don't die of full damage anyway anymore, whilst in a boat, which is actually very, very good news because it makes this whole thing a whole lot easier. Excellent. And after a quick trip to the mob and bamboo farm, I now have a whole load of scaffolding. Well, I guess now we begin the very long climb of getting to the top of this thing. Oh, jeez. And we're once again at the top of a very large tower with a very regular-sized villager. Now, the plan is to, well, do the same as what I did earlier when I forgot to record, which is simply glide over here. Now, if they don't take full damage, that is going to make this a whole lot easier as well. So I guess with all that being said, let's do this. So we've got to wait until it's back there and then just glide. There we go. We are just gliding. And then down, 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 down. Oh, perfect. I literally could not have asked for it to be more perfect. This is excellent news. And it looks like they just linked to a bed as well, which is excellent. I love it when it does that. So now all I've got to do is do this entire process again. Hello there, Mr. Villager. How would you feel about being abducted? Well, unfortunately, you don't have a choice. Don't worry, I'll give you a nice leafy home. You'll be very, very safe. Definitely won't have the constant threat of, well, literally being killed by pillagers. But that's not the point. It'll be fine there. You'll get me lots of emeralds. Yes. And look, whilst we're going up this really tall tower, we can look at all the weird world generation and wonder why Bedrock is so broken. It's a feature, guys. It's a feature. Okay, and we once again find ourselves at the top of a tower with a villager dangling in a boat. So, without further ado, let's do it once more. We're going to glide, ideally, straight over to the scaffolding. Now, you can't boost, like, use rockets or anything, because that actually breaks the lead. So you do just have to glide, but it's still way faster than, like, moving with them normally. And hopefully... Oh, look at that! Perfect! We actually landed on the scaffolding. Excellent. I was not expecting it to be that smooth. Let's see if we can get them into the raid farms smoothly. Okay then, I'm sure you guys know the drill by now, but here we are at the top. Don't be scared, villager, it's okay. Oh, no, you're not meant to come up here with me. Why? Was he nodding then? I think this villager was nodding. Okay, get back down there, but don't break the lead, please. Oh, geez, you are flying all over the place. This is not really what I wanted, but I think it's generally fine as long as you, like, don't hit the boat. So we'll just do this again. And now. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm not sure if this is working. I think it is working, actually. Hang on. Or... Oh, dear. That is actually an issue because no. I have not blocked off the hole, so that was not a smart move, and I do have blocks for me. Excellent. Okay, we're just gonna block this off. I suppose it's in a boat, so actually if it fell down there, it wouldn't die of full damage or anything. Oh, then again, I forgot I have put the micro in. Well, I suppose what we need to do now is, can we place... Oh, we can place scaffolding in water. Excellent. So we should just be able to build up here. Yeah, there we are. And then bridge across, and boom, you're pretty much here now. There we are. Cool, fab. So I then went ahead and gave the villagers some bread. Who'd have thought that bread actually has a use? And then with that bread, they were then able to breed and actually populate the village to 20 villagers because we had 20 beds. But now that we've got all the villagers set up, it was time to build some storage. So I went ahead and did that, only to find out that I built it in the wrong direction thanks to a very annoying Bedrock bug. So I then teared down the entire thing and rebuilt the storage system completely, facing a different direction, purely because of a Bedrock bug. And during the middle of that, I saw Pinape, who happened to have another Bedrock edition bug. Well, it would appear we have a new Bedrock bug in the form of Elytra flying. Unless he's just looking up, I can't tell if he's trolling. No, that's definitely moving forwards, isn't it? It's so broken. It looks so wrong. Okay, wait, I'm going to see if it happens to me. Yeah, I think it's happened for Pinape as well. It looks so wrong. Oh my gosh. I'm guessing that's with the new update. Yeah, he's doing it again. It's so weird. They've obviously broken, like, the player geometry or something, unless it's, like, one of the resource packs. Or, like, not the geometry, the animation. That looks so funny. Oh, that's true. Yeah, you can still go underneath the blocks. So that still works. And this looks completely normal. But when you, like, fly under there, it's weird. Like, even his name tag is moving to adjust for the hitbox. It's just the animation that isn't changing. And this is happening for both of us. I'm pretty sure Pinape is seeing the same thing. Well, I just came over here to the Iron Villager Trading Hall farm thingy, and I made sure to specifically drink milk so that I wouldn't start a raid. And look what happens. I've started a raid. Genuinely, I drank milk, I made sure to drink milk, and for some reason, a raid still started. I literally had the hero of the village effect, so I'm not sure how I could have even had Bad Omen to begin with, so I'm not really quite sure how that happened. But thank you, Bedrock, for once again breaking the game.
6.5 hours later.
And there we go, we have successfully done the raid and obviously won because, well, raids are honestly pretty easy when you have a pretty decent amount of totems. And thankfully, none of the villagers in this experience were harmed. All I wanted was some golden carrots. Now, one thing I did not mention in the voiceover is that I actually went ahead and tested this thing to make sure it all works, and as you can see, it works pretty well. We now have a lot of emeralds and iron and all sorts of other materials, including totems, which, to be honest, was the main thing we were after. But, you know, it's always nice to have the extras as well. Thankfully, I didn't really have to do any fixes to the farm itself at all, other than add this roof to the villager area, which I completely forgot to do in the first place anyway. So now that we've done that, this farm is, well, essentially finished. But the video isn't over because, well, I have a little rant, to be honest. And as you might have guessed, the rant is about Bedrock Edition being stupid. So, in this farm, I really wanted to use an allay-based non-stackable item filter because raid farms have so many non-stackables, it is the perfect opportunity to sort the totems and then, like, burn everything else, honestly, because I didn't really need any of it. And I was like, yes, okay, great. I started work on this design many months ago. Back when allays first came out, I figured I'd just update this and fix it. Now, this design, first of all, is incredibly inconsistent. You can see here I drop a single item, and that one has diamond swords, and that time it has indeed picked it up and dropped it in here, or it might not have dropped it because I haven't turned on the note blocks. But the point is it definitely picked it up, and I think it did drop it. In fact, let's just try that again. So there we go, throw it in, and does it pick it up? No, it actually doesn't this time. So that's part of what I'm saying. For some reason, half the time the allay doesn't even pick up the item. Now that's more likely to be a bedrock issue, to be completely honest, and it's annoying, but I'm sure there are ways to work around it. So my other issues with allays is to do with how they focus on items. So for some reason, if you throw in multiple items, the allay will focus on multiple of those items and won't drop or pick up any of those items until the specific one that it's focused on has been picked up. It just doesn't make sense at all. Basically, it means that you have to put in items one item at a time. It's kind of impossible to show this because it's hard to know whether the design's just being inconsistent or something else. But like, let's say I throw in all of those 4 items. As you can see, it only picked up the first item because the first item was the one it was focusing on. It didn't pick up all the others because it wasn't focusing on those items, which means it's basically impossible to have a actually efficient allay item sorter because it just doesn't work with multiple items for some reason. And then finally, the other issue is to do with nether portals. As you can see, if I grab myself here some flint and steel and some obsidian and go ahead and build myself a pretty regular nether portal, and we're also going to go ahead and turn that off because it's getting annoying, and then light said nether portal and hop on through. The allays follow me. I did not plant these here. These are the 2 that were in the system and they have followed me. Even though these allays are locked up and literally in an area surrounded by blocks, if they're within distance of the player, then they will teleport to you and follow you through the portal, even if they're linked to a note block. Why? So if I remember correctly, you have to actually build the portal 22 or 23 blocks away from any allays or allay item sorters for them to not teleport through with you. It means that putting this in like a base area or something is virtually impossible because realistically, most people are going to want their portal like right next to their item sorter because it's one of the most used parts of most bases. So how are you meant to include these guys in an item sorter if that's the case? It doesn't make sense at all. It's really annoying. And it's more so a shame that the allay was a mob that was obviously voted in. People really get excited, as we've seen this year, about the mob vote and are quite passionate about it as well, sometimes a little bit too passionate, as we've seen this year as well. But the point is, people do genuinely care, which is good because there are a lot of people passionate about this amazing game and it deserves that. The problem is when we get features like this that clearly haven't been thought through and that nobody wants, it's incredibly disappointing. This mob had so much potential that I feel like has just been thrown down the drain thanks to questionable design decisions like that. And it's not like any other mob automatically teleports through a portal with you. As far as I'm aware, wolves don't do it, and any other mobs that you can tame as well don't do it. It's only allays. So surely it would just make more sense, to the rare occasion you want to bring one through a portal, to just put a lead on it and do it like that. And where did it even get that diamond sword from me? Well, that's kind of impressive. I don't know where it found that. But the point is that allays just really don't seem worth it. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be building any allay item filters anytime soon, as much as I'd love to. At the moment, as I say, they're just not worth it. I really hope that the armadillo is a much more thought out and, well, better mob. It wasn't my first choice, but that doesn't mean it's a bad mob on paper. And I really hope that we're able to take that concept and make an actually good mob that people like that isn't full of questionable features like this. Anyway, rant over, and speaking of things that are over, I think the video's over. So a huge thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. See ya!